I don't know if you saw this. It just came out. It just came out on my laptop while I was sitting here waiting to start the shoot. And that is that Bondi charged 3 people with Tesla vandalism.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like moments ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's pretty quick if you think about it. But
What was that?
that was my focus I have to turn off.
Oh.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, she charged people with vandalism. I think there were 3 people, Colorado, Maryland, somewhere else too. Like
Okay.
one person had thrown like a bunch of Molotov
Charged with
cocktails.
what?
Charged with, I'm hoping, domestic terrorism.
Domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
Might be.
Vandalism at the very least.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We're going to find out probably as the day progresses. There'll be more.
Well,
I haven't seen the news yet. I've been sitting here for the past hour.
What makes it domestic terrorism is that they are targeting Tesla,
Right.
because Tesla is owned by Elon Musk, who's working for the president of the United States and fulfilling his agenda. So that's why they're targeting it, which makes it domestic terrorism, because terrorism is using violence to achieve a political end.
Of course.
So that's textbook terrorism, actually.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Mhm.
I mean, that they would resort to it's amazing the mindset that does that sort of thing. They're actually hoping that an American corporation does badly,
Yeah.
like just because they disagree with the owner.
Well, Tim Walz had that thing the
Oh
other
my
day,
God, I
right?
was going to bring him up. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually
He's a weirdo.
He's been a weirdo, but we've known that all along.
Yeah.
But he's actually egging people on
Right.
and taking great. He had the thing he said about his. What did he say about
He checks the
put-
stock.
Yeah, he checks
on
the
his
stock and he
phone.
put it on his phone,
Yeah.
so he sees it going. Well, it's been going up since then, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
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 Well, cars isn't it's Tesla's only business.
Oh, yeah.
It's a majority of it, but they're doing the self-driving technology software.
Yeah.
They do a lot of different. Most of their revenues is derived from car sales.
Right. Full self-driving is
Full
their
self-driving.
is the latest thing.
Yep, and that's not
Right.
going to only be for Teslas. That's going to be for a lot of.
And they're going to do the cabs, too. Have you seen the cabs?
Oh yeah.
They have these they look like something out of the 1920s, like futuristic.
I have not.
These
I
cabs
haven't
that
seen a
drive
picture of
themselves.
that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you do you have one?
I can
you
get one. Yeah, sure.
I haven't seen that.
They're what's that style that a lot of buildings in New York are in? I can't think of the name.
Deco?
Right now. Art Deco. It's like an Art Deco thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Really? An
Tesla.
Art Deco car?
In a way, yeah. It's like very.
Well, that would be Chrysler.
Let's see. No, that's not. This
Chrysler,
isn't
the
it.
Chrysler building is Art Deco.
This is not it.
Leave it to Google.
No, these are just dumb. Tesla taxi. Maybe it was like a van. Okay, this is what I was picturing.
What?
They got something like this now.
That looks like a Tesla toaster. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it does look like a toaster. But this is going to be their
Come on.
their cab, cyber cab.
That thing is going to move around the streets?
Yeah,
Oh, that's crazy.
it's going to hold people.
Oh my God. That's very wow, that's really
It's almost like a
futuristic.
subway car in a way.
Yeah, but it's very
It's like doors on the side that are going to open. Maybe.
Jetson-esque.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well,
crazy.
Do you know who Mark Rober is?
Rover?
No, Rober.
Rober, no.
Rober.
No.
He's a YouTuber. He's like one of these science people on YouTube who runs
Right.
experiments and makes funny videos. He's one of those guys that he doesn't actually do anything super important. He just makes cool videos with sciencey related things.
Okay.
Anyway, so he has a Tesla and he's a huge YouTube channel. He has like millions and millions of followers.
Right.
He has a Tesla and he wanted to test the self-driving, the autopilot on the Tesla
Sure.
versus the self-driving of a car that uses LiDAR,
Okay.
because Teslas don't use LiDAR. Teslas only use normal cameras for their self-driving.
Right.
And
So LiDAR is what like speed detectors use.
yeah, LiDAR. It's like radar
Right.
or sonar,
Right.
but it's LiDAR.
Yeah.
So
I
it's not
forget-
sound,
you
it's
know
not
what?
radio waves. I forget what the L is actually for.
I forget. I did know because when I went to fight a speeding ticket,
Yeah.
I studied up on it
Because they use LiDAR speed
because I
detectors.
use LiDAR. Yeah, so I had to make a case for it, and that was in Hartford, Connecticut, a couple of years ago.
Oh, it's just light detection is what it means. Okay.
And I won, by the way.
You did win.
Oh yeah.
So what he did is he tested a car with LiDAR versus a car with versus a Tesla with normal cameras,
Right.
both in their self-drive or autopilot mode to see which one performed better, which one was safer. Actually, I have the video queued up because I did want to show you because I knew you would find it interesting. So
Okay.
here's what happened. Let's just say the first test, the LiDAR car did not crash. It stopped. Okay, he was doing like crash tests.
Oh, okay, sure.
Okay, so here's the Tesla.
Okay.
What he did is
he going to crash his own Tesla?
Yeah, he drove it into a wall.
Oh my God.
Now it's like a styrofoam wall, but normally it would detect a wall because it's like a camera can see a wall.
Okay.
But what he did was he painted the wall to look like the road, like a Wile E. Coyote type thing.
Oh yeah.
That's so you can see.
Your body says,
so just watch.
Don't drive into a wall. Whoa.
Oh, that's wow. Look what he did.
And so I steeled myself and accelerated.
And he puts
the
it
Tesla
into
up to
autopilot.
40 miles an hour. And as the wall crept closer and closer without moving an inch, the question was if the Tesla would detect it in time to step on the brakes. And it turned out,
Oh.
So it goes through the wall. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
So the first thing to notice, the first thing I noticed.
So if he's a coyote, he's dead.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed is that the hole that Tesla made going through the wall was like these giant, like jagged shards. It looked like a fake hole.
Okay.
But apparently that was the point. He wanted to make it look silly. Like it didn't actually create an organic. They already had it cut out.
Oh, they had it cut out already.
They had it cut for if something were to go through, it would create like a funny looking hole.
They should have had it cut in the actual shape of the car, like the coyote goes through, and you see the coyote, you see his hands and everything.
But but people who like Tesla and who like Elon, so as of now, it's like people on the right are really mad at him for this. Wow. They think they think he made the whole thing up. They think he staged it. They think the whole thing's fake. They think that he's like a shill for the LiDAR companies is what they're saying. And the reason they're saying that is because there's a few things. One, he didn't use full self-drive, which I guess is the current technology.
Right.
He used autopilot,
yeah,
which is like 5-year-old technology. It still exists. They still use it. But it uses the same cameras, and they're like, oh, look, he disengaged it within the last half a second. And he pointed out, and it's true, it's like, well, even if he disengaged it in the last half a second, it was still going to crash into the car wasn't going to stop in half a second.
Right.
So I think it's a legitimate test.
I went onto the Tesla site. I have a Tesla account.
Okay.
Where I had I'm an early adopter, even though I haven't taken delivery on a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I was one of those guys that, put down a small down payment and got it and was put on the wait list. So I can get a Cybertruck anytime I want. But as one of the early adopters, I get a discount on the full autopilot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think to add it on, it's like, I don't know, $1,200, $1,700. It's not even $2,000. It's not that much. But I get a discount on it. And I never ordered the Cybertruck, I'll tell you honestly, because even though I was on reserve for it, I don't know, I'm afraid of the range.
Afraid of the range.
Yeah. Because at the time I was doing a lot more driving down into New York, New Jersey at that time.
Yes.
And which is quite a distance from us. Now I'm kind of in New England mostly. I do go down to New Jersey. I'm down in New York once in a while. But I was afraid of the range. I don't know.
What is the range? It's like 350.
Yeah.
Something
well,
like that.
They're saying, it's going to be 400.
If you get you have to buy an addition.
You can buy an additional. Yeah, you can add on to it. You can get the range extension.
Well, what it does is when you put in a destination, it maps out the places you need to stop to charge. If you go on like a big road trip,
right?
But I mean, 350 is enough to get down to New York. It's just
and now what's going on?
Charge it in New York.
Then you have to charge it in New York.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's like. I don't know.
Yeah.
There are a lot of there must be a lot of Tesla charging stations down there.
Yeah, well,
in the city,
you're dealing with Jeep and Stellantis now, which is a total nightmare. So.
I know. If they don't resolve that, I'm going to make a total podcast on it, and we'll see what happens.
Seriously, I mean, some of the worst
going to wind up
customer
in court
support,
with Stellantis.
Customer service I've ever seen on.
Unbelievable. The dealership is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The unbelievably bad. Totally giving false reports and getting upset. I went to I spoke to the salesman who sold me the thing.
Yeah.
who we've been dealing with our family for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was visibly upset when I told him, listen, they're lying to me. The service department is lying to me. They're saying they fixed it. I have the reports. They say, we fixed it. I get in the car, in the parking lot of the dealer, and it's not even touched.
Right.
Nothing is fixed. Nothing is repaired. They're lying to me.
Yeah.
And he got visible. I mean, he was like taken aback. I could see it in his face.
Yeah.
He was surprised I said that.
Right.
He said, well, why would they lie? Why would they lie? Money, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
it's pretty bad.
Stellantis is basically hemorrhaging right now because nobody wants their cars because they're crappy cars.
Yep.
And as a result, they don't want to help the people who currently have cars who aren't happy with their cars either. They're focused on like, no, you bought it, like it's yours, you keep it. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't know what they're going to do either. But we'll leave it at that because I do have a lawyer now at this point, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll do something.
So anyway, what I'm seeing now is interesting with this Tesla thing because to me this looks like a totally legitimate video. And
it looks legitimate or illegitimate?
To me, it looks legitimate.
Yeah, it looks legitimate.
Yeah, it looks legitimate.
Yeah, it looks fine.
And people are calling him out for like faking it and stuff.
Right.
And I don't see any good evidence of that at all. I mean, the Tesla, it drove into the wall. Now, he says he loves Tesla and he'll buy a new Tesla. He has his own Tesla. And he's more of like a sciencey kind of guy. So he's.
So, I'm sorry.
So he's being impartial with running this experiment. I mean, it seems normal to me.
What does this prove or disprove?
It proves, well, you would have to run it over and over again, but it was just a fun test. It's just a Tesla can be tricked to run into a wall that looks like the road.
Yeah.
That was the test.
And if anybody ever does that, we'll be in big trouble.
If anybody does that, you're screwed. You're going to hit a wall. Yeah. So, but there's I'm seeing a lot of like political tribalism come out.
Yeah.
Like people are saying like, oh, you know, because Tesla is experiencing a lot of, domestic terror threats actually and vandalism and even their storefronts are getting spray painted. So he released this video like a week ago and people are mad at him for that. They're saying, oh, look, it's another person coming after Tesla.
Oh, right. So he's, okay.
Yeah. And his whole thing is like, it's been on the docket for a year. Like they've been filming this and wanting to do this. So this is like just part of their production schedule. It just happened to line up with the political stuff.
Right.
And it does seem like he has been caught in the crossfire of a political battle that he did not mean to get into. So.
All right. Well, I'll tell you, it is the people that are destroying the Tesla products and the dealerships. They need to be. I hope that these people get the book thrown at them and really set an example. These are terrorists.
Yeah,
they are dangerous. What they're doing is so horribly wrong. They need to go to jail for the max. I hope they get that. I think the maximum is like 5 to 20 years. Mm-hmm. I think 20 years to max. I hope they get it.
They're insane people.
I hope they get it.
Did you see the one? I told you about this. I'm not going to show you because it's too gross. A guy, this big fat slob, he reaches into his pants,
right,
touches his butt, and then wipes his hands on the car.
What do you mean touches his butt? He's
like in his pants. This is him vandalizing a Tesla. He walks up to a stranger's car.
What does he do? Put butt sweat on the car?
Yeah, probably.
That's it? Oh.
Yeah, because he's a big fat loser who's probably covered in sweat. And so he's touching his butt. He takes his hands out of his pants and he starts wiping his hands on the car, which is disgusting.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you would never know what happened.
Except Tesla has cameras. So that's why all these people are getting caught.
Yeah.
So, and that's vandalism. That's biological warfare as far as I'm concerned. So,
man,
it's disgusting.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw one the other day when.
But I mean, but my point is, these are crazy, evil, wicked people. Yeah. Like the fact that thought would even cross into somebody's head is something to do.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, they should know that, and I'm sure there are people like me that I had my Cybertruck on hold. I was holding on to it, leaving it there, and considering it, and I'm thinking of getting it now. If I can get rid of this Jeep, this Cherokee, Grand Cherokee, I might get a Cybertruck instead. I would think about it.
Yeah,
I would certainly think about it. Okay, anything else?
Oh yeah, and the last thing I'll say about Tesla too is the people asking Elon to step down as CEO.
Right.
The people saying, it's probably time. This is getting very political. It's getting very heated. You should probably take a back seat for the sake of the company.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where does that mindset come from?
I knew that subject would come up like a long time ago.
I did too, of course.
Yeah.
But where does this sort of like immediate back down, give up
Right.
idea come from? Like, yeah, give up your company. It's time because things are getting difficult for you.
Right.
I don't know where this comes from.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the earnings call. That's going to be in April. I forget what date. I think it's ways off. It's in April, like middle of April.
Yeah.
I like Elon is hard to listen to at
Yeah.
those meetings, but I like listening to it anyway because I have to. I keep my homework. I keep my tabs on Tesla because I have
Sure.
I'm an owner. Yeah. Speaking of traveling and driving around, can you picture one of those things in Manhattan though?
What?
One of those rolling toasters?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If you cleaned it up a bit, Manhattan, I mean.
It'd be full of graffiti after a while.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, it would.
You remember? Okay, so, you know, I don't have, I wanted to show one, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my MTA card. You know those yellow MTA cards
Sure.
look like? You know what they look like.
You mean for the subway?
For the subway, yeah.
Sure, Metro card.
Metro card, sorry. And the Metro card. And I have one around somewhere, and I can't find it. I haven't used it in a while because we haven't been down, haven't been in the subway. I haven't been in the subway in like 2 years, it seems.
I don't even know if they use those anymore.
They do. They still use them. Well, that's what I was going to bring up. They have now, they're doing away with them. They've been using this thing called the Omni card, which is basically on your phone.
Sure.
You know, so you have to use your
Yeah,
phone.
I get it.
Well, now they're phasing out the MTA cards, the Metro cards. They're going to be gone totally.
Yeah.
You know, I think starting,
So it's all going to be on your phone.
it's all going to be on your phone.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have to have a phone. So the funny thing about that is, like, and it's a controversy in New York because what if you're like, you know, Junior Soprano and you have a flip phone? You know what I mean? You can't ride the subway.
What? Okay.
Yeah, or you know, old people don't have a lot of old people don't have smartphones.
Yeah.
You know, they have these little flip phones that they buy at CVS or something, or
Sure.
something they get from their children.
Well, a lot of people just hop it. They just hop the turnstiles.
Yeah. So the whole idea of switching. Oh, yeah, I know. Well, that's the problem. The whole idea of switching over is they say they're going to save $20 million because it costs them $20 million to produce these cards.
Okay.
Supposedly, but there's 800 million lost in fare jumpers,
Right.
turnstile jumpers.
Yeah.
Why don't you fix that?
That's nuts.
Fix that.
Right.
And that's why, you know, I'm not a
I
citizen
kind
of
of
New
think
York
they
anymore.
want them jumping the turnstiles.
I don't know.
I feel like they want it. The same way you feel like they want crime when they don't, in any regard, when they don't stop it. Like
Right.
shoplifters, like why aren't you stopping it? It's like it's some sort of weird.
It's a weird
like,
mentality.
It's like it's almost like a weird unspoken redistribution of wealth type thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
Robin Hood type.
Yeah, it is.
It's like yup. All the upstanding people with jobs are going to pay the fare,
Right.
and then the people who don't want to are just going to jump over.
and it's
And we're not going to stop
I think
them.
there's this like unspoken attitude, like, well, you shouldn't be charging us anyway.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? This should be
Yeah.
free. You should be providing this for free
Right.
anyway.
right.
I don't know if is there any free transportation in major U.S. cities now?
No, when I was in DC, it was free, and that was weird because
I remember that.
anybody just jumped on a bus
Yeah,
anytime
but that was
they wanted.
because of COVID. I think.
That was COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird though. There were just like homeless people riding the buses for hours at a time.
I remember
So-
walking down 16th
Okay.
toward where you worked.
What, when you visited me or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I remember the buses. Basically each one went by and it said like free service or something like that on the,
Yeah.
whatever that is above the windshield there, and people were just hopping on, and I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't ride. It wasn't that far. It was only a few
Yeah.
blocks. You know.
I rode it a few times.
You did?
Yeah.
Were they clean?
No.
No. When I lived in the Bronx, when I first started working, when I was a kid, I was working down the Hunts Point Terminal Market, unloading trucks and stuff like that. And I would have to get up at like 3 a.m. and I would get like I'd have to be there like, I think 5 a.m., 4 a.m., something like that. So it was still
How
dark.
old were you?
Oh, I was like, believe it or not, I was like 13, 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. Used to go down and unload watermelons, grapes. Yeah. It was good money.
I tried getting a job when I was 14 and nobody would hire me.
Well, you lived on Cape Cod.
They all said it was illegal.
Oh, no. No. I had working papers.
Yeah.
I had to just hand them in. And anyway, I remember, so I would take the number 6 train from Westchester Squares, where we lived, down to Hunts Point Avenue. And then I would have to take the bus to the market.
Okay.
So I would get out, and it was like pitch black out. I was standing there waiting for the bus. The bus would come, and I would get on. I was the only, first of all, the only kid on the bus, but I'm the only white person on the bus. Everybody, I think everyone's either black or Hispanic anyway, and they would like look at me like this, but they were perfectly friendly to me. I became friendly with them and everything. They really liked that I was so young working down there. I was like going.
Did they all work there too?
Yeah, they were all workers.
Yeah.
So, and I would see the same guys every single day. And they'd be sitting there, with their work shoes on and their work clothes on. Half of them are still sleeping. And they'd be drinking champagne. I don't know why they were drinking champagne that early in the morning, but they did. And one of the things that I used to notice, well, aside from the empty champagne cans under the seats and the sleeping workers, was that the buses were crawling with cockroaches. I mean, the first time I saw it, there was this roach like coming toward me, and this big fat guy looked at it, he went, "Look out!" And he took his foot, and he stepped on the cockroach.
Okay.
I said, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I became friendly with all those guys, and they would like give me food and stuff when I would go down. They would bring in their lunches and they would like give me like food. I don't like just wrapped up treats like, cookies that their wife made and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. I never ate it though, because I was afraid of the cockroaches.
Ew.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's kind of gross, but that was what it was like taking a bus in, down the South Bronx in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no more Metro cards.
Okay.
Oh, there's something else I was going to talk to you about. It's dated already, so we got to let it go. I was going to talk to you about stupid, because talking about Teslas. I'm going to let it go. But I was going to talk to you about stupid Sheryl Crow. You saw that thing?
Sheryl Crow?
Yeah.
No.
The singer.
Yeah, I know who she is.
How she, they showed her getting her Tesla towed away. She's in front of her house getting the Tesla.
Oh, who cares?
And she's like, "Goodbye, Tesla,"
Stupid.
And she's, it was a TikToker, and it was probably Instagram.
Okay.
And she did it. I'm thinking, so stupid. And then I was watching it, and I'm looking, and I'm going, wait a minute. She's getting her Tesla towed away, supposedly. But I'm looking, and it's like, wait a minute. It's autumn when they're shooting this. There's like all the this is not now. This is like a year ago, or in the fall. It's like before the election.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the video's new?
Yeah, the video's new. It's just released, and she's getting rid of her Tesla.
Right.
And I'm looking at the Tesla, and not only is it, so I looked at it over and over again a couple of times, and I'm noticing also, wait a minute, this Tesla is like covered with dust, and it's got like fingerprints on the door, like it hasn't been used in a very, very long time. That's not a
now.
car.
If it's autumn, I get that could still be a political thing because Elon was involved with Trump in the fall.
He was, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he started in the summer
Yeah.
doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
it was a little disingenuous, and also the fact that the car wasn't used in such a long time. I was going to bring it up. I was going to show you the clip and everything. It's old news already by now.
Okay.
So I really don't care. But yeah, so I was going to talk about that. However, and I'm glad I didn't, but we did. But I'm glad we didn't speak about it extendedly. One of the things that I wasn't going to talk to you about that just came up this morning that your sister mentioned to me was this new discovery with the pyramids in Egypt.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
I have. I don't know how legitimate it is, though.
Oh, you don't know if it's legitimate?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure on it. What is it?
Well, basically, they have this new tomography, right? Tomography is like
Study of tomatoes.
study of tom-toms.
Okay.
Yeah. No, tomography, tomography. It's like, I'm not that familiar with the technology, but I believe it's like CT scans. It's like CTs and MRIs where they take all these different slices of radar images. It's called SARS, S-A-R.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, which is, I forget what SA is, but the R is radar. So basically they use radar to take these like MRI like images and piece them all together from different angles, and they make this 3D image.
Right.
So they come up with these images of the pyramids, okay? And apparently there are 5 identical structures inside at least 3 of these pyramids. 3 identical structures. Each one is, I don't know how high they are, but each one is like 5 and it has 5 levels.
These are under the pyramids, right?
Under the floor of the pyramids.
Right. So underground.
Underground. And they're like 5 levels, and they have pitched roofs.
Okay.
Right?
And these are all some sort of underground structures. Beneath the pyramids?
Beneath the pyramids. And there's 5 of them. And then under each one, and then there's an extra 3, I guess. I don't know. But there are these 8 cylindric structures, okay, that descend from each of these things that descend from each of these things with the pitched roofs.
Yeah.
Why would you have a pitched roof inside of a pyramid?
Well, it's not inside; it's underground, which is still confusing.
Even underground, yeah. So they have that, and these things descend down like thousands of feet. These cylindric things, and they have these cyclical path. They're calling them pathways going down each one. And each one goes like 2,000 feet.
Did nobody confirmed this? This is just nobody has seen these.
No, well, they see it on radar. They see it on these images.
Okay.
And then they descend into these giant blocks, these giant square structures, which are like 200 or 300 cubic feet each one wide, large.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird.
Well, it's not kind of weird. It's like incredible if it's true.
Yeah.
Giza
is the name of the big one.
The pyramid of Giza.
The big pyramid.
So, is it true?
Well, yeah, I think it sounds true.
These images would have to be proven real. Like we have to find out. Yeah, we have to find out how real these images are.
We have to find out, which means we have to go there with a shovel.
Which is not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
No,
not going to happen. It's just not going to. It's just maybe 100 years from now. Just what it would take to be able to do that would be ridiculous. Because nobody's going to want to touch those.
I'd be interested to see if whatever they did is repeatable by somebody else. Whatever this group is that did this, I'd want to see it repeated in order to confirm the validity. Yeah.
True. Yeah, it could be a major hoax, right?
It could be a hoax or just a misreading or something ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, so. I think Tesla was he was inspired by the pyramids. He thought that the pyramids generated energy.
Okay.
Wirelessly.
Mm-hmm.
So he got into that because of the pyramids, supposedly, yeah. And now this is people are looking at this and saying, well, these look like some sort of energy generation machinery.
Yeah, that is a theory that exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which they thought it could be weapons of mass destruction, could be one thing, Well,
the thing is they have found artifacts in Egypt that are like so perfectly crafted,
right,
that without modern technology, we wouldn't know how to do it that perfectly.
Right.
It's like it's like perfect symmetry of a statue or something like that, to the point where it's like, well, if they were just doing this with tools in their own hands, we don't know how it would even be possible to get something that perfect.
Right.
So there's definitely things that we don't quite understand about the technology they had.
Right.
I think that's true. I think
it's definitely true. Yeah, we don't know how they made holes, how they bore holes into stone. And
we don't even know
that.
how they got the stone there. There's theory, but it's not proven, and a lot of it doesn't make sense.
I was taught in grammar school, they just built, basically, they would just like roll them.
They rolled it on logs.
Yeah, they rolled them on.
But that sounds crazy.
And it would take them
the distance is so far.
To get,
it's too far.
It's
too far.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems so ridiculous,
Also, wet sand is another one.
Wet sand?
Yeah, like make the sand slippery and you can slide it.
You could push it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find all of it ridiculous that they would use wet sand, or even that they would somehow construct wheels. And I mean, I know they could make wheels, but I mean, like to move those.
Right.
It just sounds it always sounded incredulous to me.
Here's what I'll just
there it is.
Here's a picture of it.
Yeah.
This is what they think it looks like under it.
Right.
Which looks nuts to me. Okay, so the pitched roofs are above ground, I guess.
Right.
And then these giant cylinders with some sort of stairwells going up them.
I don't know if they're stairwells. I don't know.
That looks crazy.
Maybe they're giant cables. Maybe these are giant induction generators generating electricity.
Oh yeah, what you mean, like conduction? Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, right. They're coils. They're big copper coils. Right.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's nuts.
It's kind of weird. I mean, that it actually would look like that is probably not that likely. But I mean, as far as like,
I don't see any big media outlets talking about this though.
No.
You would think this should be like the top story of the day across the entire world.
You would think so. Yeah, I know.
So the fact that it's not makes me think that it's not up to snuff 100%.
Well, it hasn't been. Yeah, they haven't searched it
Like
out
maybe
yet.
it needs to be verified more. I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it's kind of interesting. Now, one of the things that you and I talk about this a lot on this. We're on this subject a lot, and that is about anger.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And well, let me ask you this: Do you think that smart people make good decisions and dumb people make dumb decisions? Is that how it works?
No.
No,
I don't think that's how it
because
works.
smart people can make some pretty dumb decisions.
I think everybody is stupid.
Everybody
So.
is stupid.
I think smart people, middle intelligent people, and stupid people all make really dumb decisions
Right.
most of the time. And
Okay, so why would they make dumb decisions most of I'm leading up to something, obviously.
okay,
Why would they make dumb decisions most of the time?
I think they're affected by thoughts and emotions, let's
Right.
say. And when people are upset or upsettable,
Right.
they're easier to control. And even if they don't know it's happening or the person doing it to them doesn't explicitly know they're doing it, they fall prey to circumstances and stupid decisions they wouldn't make or get themselves into otherwise. And I think that happens to probably 99% of people.
Right.
Yeah.
99% is probably a pretty good guess. Probably
So
close.
I've seen not so intelligent people make much better decisions and lead happier lives than very, very intelligent people.
Right.
And to me, that means, well, that intelligent person can't be that smart. So,
Right. People do not make dumb decisions because they're dumb.
Okay.
They make dumb decisions because they're unconscious.
Okay.
Because when you're unconscious,
Which means what?
well, which means when you're unconscious, that means that you're not awake, you're not aware, you're lost in your head, you're lost in thought.
Lost in thought. Okay.
Correct. Right. And when you're lost in thought, you become open to, I call it, it sounds a little new agey and all that stuff, but I call it a psychic attack. In other words, there is good and there's evil.
Mm-hmm.
There's dark and there's light. There's hot and cold. But there are elements in this universe of good and evil moving through the universe, just like any energy would, whether it be light, right? Light is waves and particles, or gravity, which is, I guess gravity is waves, right? Moving through the universe, and there's also love and there's hate. Well, when you are unconscious, you open yourself to attack by these dark forces that can actually enter you, and that energy is fed upon by a part of you that's it's not even a part of you, but it's something that's inside of you. We call it ego, right?
You do.
I don't. Well, psychiatrists do.
No.
I use the word-
Psychiatrists don't. You use it differently than psychiatrists do, for sure. Because when they talk about ego, they're talking about an essential part of your being.
They do use it differently than I do, but it's a word that people understand, so I kind of borrow it.
Okay.
But there is this false self, this false identity that resides inside of us that is not really us, but we think it is because it has a very clever attachment to our intellect. Okay? When this energy enters you, you become subject to emotions. It spins up emotions. What it does is it's an energy that actually feeds that entity called ego.
Mhm.
I mean a false identity within you that feeds on that energy and becomes emboldened by it and becomes engorged with it and actually inflates with it. And you identify with it and you think that that's yourself. And when you are there, that is when you start exhibiting narcissistic tendencies, selfishness, self-centeredness, self-absorption. Okay. And you become involved with yourself and you feel bitterness. It spins emotion. You become emotional. Everybody knows that emotional people don't make good decisions. Well, the reason they don't make good decisions is because they are involved with self. They are self-absorbed, and their vision gets very narrow. They disconnect from intuition. They disconnect from what would be their God consciousness. People don't like God, just call it self-consciousness, but it's really God consciousness that guides you and tells you what to do next without words. You just intuitively know what to do next. And when your vision becomes that narrow, you can't see the broad picture of what to do, and you miss details. You miss vital details that would give you information and enough data to make correct decisions. You only see what's in front of you. So let's say when you see someone, you see it all the time on a highway, right? When you see someone on the highway, whether it be in front of you or in back of you, who wants to pass the car in front of you. Sometimes it's you. they want to pass. So they go, and they try to pass, and they put themselves right behind a dump truck.
Okay.
And it didn't work for them.
Yeah.
That's not what they wanted, right? Well, why didn't they look for the dump truck? Why didn't they just look ahead? Because they can't see ahead. All they can see is what's right in front of them. They do not see the whole picture. So you lose your broad vision, you lose your periphery sensibilities when you are self-centered, self-absorbed, and that's when that thing has been feeding on that negative energy that enters you when you're unconscious.
Now, I wanted to bring up the God conscious part because you said you use that term.
Yeah.
And that means different things to different people too.
Right.
And I'm afraid that some people are going to interpret that from you to mean a sort of like you are part of God, this idea that's very new agey and very
Right.
Eastern.
Yeah.
And some people, when they say that, that's what they mean by it.
No.
And I don't think that's what you mean by it.
No.
So what do you mean by it?
Well, I'm calling it God consciousness. I'm saying intuition. It is intuition.
But no, related to God though. What do you mean in relation to
God is there.
Yeah.
And his will downloads into you.
Okay.
He is not you, and you're not him. Right. So when I have my laptop here and I'm getting Wi-Fi data from the router from, in this example, the Washington Examiner, my MacBook is not the Washington Examiner, but it's getting data from the Washington Examiner.
I gotcha.
Okay, simple as that. And we need, in order to make right decisions, we do need intellect, we do need reasoning, we do need experience, we do need data. So we have to use our brain for we have to use our brain, but we also need that enveloped with a sense of intuition to guide us wordlessly. And if you lose that, then you're just guided by intellect. And everything you do, all of your decision making could be right or wrong. You become subject to chance. It's a 50-50 proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you have intuition working for you, you're then doing God's will. You can't go wrong. You can't theoretically. You could be, if you were to become perfect, you would be always be doing God's will. You could never do anything wrong. Well, I don't know anybody that's there yet. I certainly am not. But the more conscious you are, the more you're going to be accessing that.
Right. Okay.
So if you're unconscious, your judgment is impaired. It's compromised. If you're conscious, you have intellect, you have reasoning, you have your experiences, you have data, you can see everything around you, and you see the periphery of everything. I'm not saying that you can't concentrate or focus on things. That's not what I'm talking about. If you're doing that deliberately and putting an effort, a mental effort, say, toward accomplishing a task, working on a problem, or working on a business transaction, you can do that, but that's voluntary. You also have the periphery to look at all around you, and then you're voluntarily directing your attention like a laser towards something. But if you live that way, you miss the rest of the world.
Okay.
It's like with a GPS. You've seen me use the GPS, right? So I have the GPS screen, and I have my route, and I have me on the screen, and I can see, I don't know how far ahead of you, I don't know, a few hundred yards or a quarter of a mile or whatever it is that you see on the screen. I like to zoom out. I just like to, sometime during the trip, usually in the beginning, I like to zoom out. I like to see the terrain around. I like to see my position relative to the coastline, to the next big city, to the next big highway. And then I'll zoom in. That's the way I am. I like to see things all around me. You know what I mean? So
I do.
Yeah. So conscious awareness frees you from these psychic influences that would otherwise keep you focused only on your own self. Yeah. And that's why you make mistakes. That's why, and you always make mistakes when you don't do that. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you go to a restaurant, how much do you tip?
20%.
20%?
Yeah.
No matter how bad it is.
No, I've had bad service and given 15.
Yeah.
And I think there was a time when bad service would get you 10.
Right.
But I think now you're supposed to tip 20 for standard service and then 15 for
Why would that
lesser
change?
service.
Why would that? I mean,
because
it's a percentage. It's not like it doesn't need an inflation adjustment.
I know, but wait staff have gotten really upset about their wages. They think they're paid unfairly. So
Yeah.
I think it became like it became like the normal thing to do 20%.
Right.
Because so many people wanted to show how generous they were.
Right.
That it became like, oh, well, only somebody who's not generous would give less than 20.
Yeah, right.
Unless the service is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just keeps going higher and higher. I've also seen places that like just automatically add it. Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That just add it for you. So it's 20% no matter what.
I know.
So
it's pretty terrible. That's a big subject. I want to talk about that in the future because that's a big subject. It kind of, there's this online group that I checked out that's local. It's local here where we live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposedly all the restaurants.
Yeah.
It's like a local restaurant group.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So I figured, well, let me see, because I think the restaurants around here suck.
They do.
They do. I really don't like them, most of them. I mean, there's a couple of good ones, I guess, but no great restaurants.
Yeah.
And you would think it would be the other way around. I mean, we're supposed to have this, great seafood and stuff like that. You know what? And the food is probably good.
There's some good seafood places.
There are some. Actually, there are
Everything
some
else
very
is
good.
terrible.
Everything else is terrible.
Yeah.
And even then, the service is terrible in a lot of places.
It is. Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, I don't want to harp on the subject, but I mentioned a couple of times, and I was really nice about it. I mean, I added my 2 cents about it. I commented about something.
I bet you were not really nice about it.
I was very nice.
Okay.
I'm a nice person.
All right.
And I said something about tips, and like, well, it was something simple, like tip for good service, and you don't leave a tip for bad service. Whoa! I mean, they came down. They came down on me, cursing me. Oh, I know people like you, and boy, I would never serve you if I saw you coming. I mean, apparently, this group is all occupied by people that work in restaurants. I thought it was people like looking for good food, but it's basically just a bunch of nasty women waitresses that work in restaurants. Because I looked at a few, there were like no men there at all. They're just nasty ladies and girls who just like they think that they should be getting high tips even for bad service. Yeah, apparently. Anyway,
good service gets good tips.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, I was looking at the survey. I was looking at the survey here, and tipping behavior of various generations. Who do you think? What generation do you think tips the best, and which tips the worst?
Well, you would think the older generation has more money, so you think they would tip better.
Yeah.
But I know my generation and younger are very self-conscious, and they're always afraid to make their feelings known.
Right. Yeah.
So
your generation being
like let's say under 30. Under 30.
Are you Z? Are you?
I'm actually right in the middle of millennial and Z.
God,
I'm literally right on the cusp.
These designations are so stupid.
I know. Anyway, but I noticed my generation is actually afraid of servers and afraid of restaurant workers.
Right.
Like, hey, like if it's not any trouble, do you think I could have a different fork? This one has brown schmutz on it. It's like
schmutz.
I don't know. So, but it's like.
You only get schmutz in New York.
Just ask for a different fork. Why do you have to?
Yeah, right.
Why do you have to beg for one? So there's that element which I think is very weird. And I think the reason for that is because restaurant workers are so angry. They've made their opinions so vocal online. Like we deserve more and we get treated so badly that my generation is like afraid to even speak normally to them. They almost treat them with a level of reverence that I think is undue. But anyway. So I'm going to say they tip the most. I'm going to say millennial tip the most.
Millennials tip the most?
That's my guess, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm considered, I never used to be a baby boomer. I was like, the baby boomers were like, used to try to edge me out. You're not a baby boomer. You're not a baby. But now, they're saying I'm like right on the cusp between Gen X and baby boomer somehow. Yeah, the baby boomers, I'll tell you, do you know one time now this goes back, I was like literally, I don't know, 20 years old, in my early 20s. And I was eating dinner at Tavern on the Green in New York, which is in Central Park. Anyway, the service was really bad. I've never gotten bad service in that restaurant. The food is always pretty good, pretty good. It's presented really well. That's for sure. And I was really unhappy. I really didn't like the service. The waiter was, dropped the spoon and I felt rushed and everything else. So I said, well, the heck with this. When I got my bill, I just put 0 tip. And I added nothing.
Okay.
And they were like, the chef came out. The cook came out. I don't know if he was the head chef. He came out. Mr. Schwarzhoff, what is wrong? You know.
So it must have gone really bad though for you to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was. I'm not. You know, I don't know. It's so long ago. I'm wondering if I wasn't just cocky.
you might have just been an asshole.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I was. So I kind of, thinking back, thinking that could be so, I kind of regret it now.
Yeah.
It's like many years ago. It was like, God, a lot of years ago. But yeah. Okay. So millennials are some of the highest tippers.
Okay.
Okay. Their percent average is 19.49. So almost 20%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gen Z, the national average is actually almost the same, 19.3.
Okay.
Yeah. Gen X, 18.
Yeah.
And baby boomers, 16. They're the lowest.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're used to a time where 15 was probably normal.
Right.
So
Right.
that makes sense.
I'll leave a very good tip if I get very good service. If I get really.
Yeah.
20%, 20. I'll even go 25% if it's.
I've seen you leave 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, before. I mean, it's not uncommon for you.
Yeah. Some people are some waiters and some waitresses are really, really nice and they really deserve it.
The weird one is tipping somebody who's not actually serving you. Like like nobody, like the person's not in charge of bringing you food.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it yet.
Right.
So you haven't gotten a chance to even assess
Right.
whether or not this whole establishment is doing a good job.
Yeah.
But they're going to turn the iPad at you and make you choose a percent. It's like, well, I just ordered a coffee. You haven't even given it to me. And you're not even going to give it to me. It's some other guy I haven't met. It's a weird thing.
You know why? Because this whole attitude has changed. It's switched around.
Yeah.
You are subsidizing the payroll of this person for the owner.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. And that's no good.
And they that's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
They don't even mind that you know that now.
Yeah. It's weird.
That's because you're not getting good
Right.
stuff. Yeah. And there's a place that we go to for seafood that does that. Right. Isn't there a place
I don't know.
in Chatham?
Yeah, they do that.
Right.
They do that.
So I'm like, and if I were to say, well, what if I tip now? How do I know I'm going to get good service or not? They would look at me like I had three heads.
Yeah, I know. They wouldn't even understand the question. They
Yeah.
wouldn't understand the lack of logic in the system they have.
What was it? Wait a minute. It happened recently. I went back and tipped. I made a mistake. What happened? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think you didn't tip the right amount and then you felt bad and you wanted to go fix it. Because the thing is, they are all, like, we've only had good service there.
Right.
I don't think we've ever had a bad experience.
Oh, I know what it was.
So-
I forgot that I wasn't going to get to tip the server. I thought I was just tipping the girl.
So you did a low
the
amount.
girl taking the money. I
Gotcha.
said, well, I'll give you a tip, but I'm not giving. I'll give you like 10%.
Right.
So I gave her like 10%. And I felt that.
Then you felt bad because we did get served after.
And then the girl came and started. She was fantastic. I go, well, I can't let that go. So I went back and tipped. And I said, oh yeah, they made me buy something.
Yeah, right.
Their system wouldn't allow for a tip without a purchase.
Yeah.
So their POS system.
Sure.
So I had to buy something for $1 that didn't exist.
Right.
I said, well, look, just sell me something. Sell me anything for $1. They put in $1. So I had put it $1 purchase, and then I tipped on top of that. So I gave like a tip on the whole thing. I didn't do 20% on $1. That would have been a good trick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The French fries in that place, by the way, are probably not healthy.
Probably not.
Probably
you
not.
think you're cooked in seed oil? That's what you mean.
Yeah, they're probably cooked in seed oil.
Probably.
Yeah. So there's this restaurant, as you know, we've spoken about them before. I think we mentioned them on the podcast before. Steak and
Shake?
Steak and Shake. Yeah. Steak and Shake. Now they were going to switch over to beef tallow.
For their fry oil.
For their fry oil, right? For their fries. And we've spoken about McDonald's having cottonseed oil.
Cottonseed oil. They do cottonseed and canola. It used to be cottonseed and beef tallow way back in the 60s or whatever.
Right.
Now it's canola. Yeah.
Right. So everybody knows about this. Kennedy's brought it up. Everybody knows. So there's a lot of pressure, social pressure on McDonald's to switch back to beef tallow. I don't know if they're even considering it. But this company did. They switched to tallow.
Yeah.
And this is the days when, McDonald's fries were delicious and way better even than they are. They're pretty good now, but they're so unhealthy that I'd never eat them. So anyway, I sent you, get a link. I sent you the link on Steak and Shake, which is supposedly going to beef tallow. And I was afraid that they were going to, I said, they're going to blow it. They're going to blow it somehow, and they did. They have blown it, but at least they're being transparent here. Because if you look, it says they're acknowledging it. Our fries, our onion rings, our chicken tenders are now cooked in 100% beef tallow in our restaurants. 100%. That's pretty cool. No additives, etc. But their buns all have seed oil, right? And I thought that maybe their fries would also have seed oil, and they do. They have seed oil in the fries.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You mean like pre-cooked frozen French fries?
Yeah. But if you remember, wasn't it McDonald's that was doing oil? I mean, sugar?
Yeah, they coat it in sugar.
Yeah, they coat it in sugar in order to what? To make it brown.
Make it brown.
Makes it brown.
I also think it just adds sugar. I just think it makes it addictive.
Yeah, right. Just like
Probably.
the ketchup, just like the bun. Everything tastes so sweet from there.
Yeah.
I bought buns from we don't like a lot of carbs, right? But how do you eat a hot dog without? I mean, I eat hot dogs without a bun. But I tried a hot dog bun package from Whole Foods that was organic. I would try organic. Oh man, it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was full of sugar. It tasted like a
Sweet roll.
like a honey bun.
Sure.
Yeah, so fries turning brown taste better. I mean, crispy fries are delicious. Soggy fries are horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we make you're familiar with the, you've talked about this, about the Maillard reaction.
Yeah.
So what exactly is that?
I thought it was mallard. It's Maillard.
I don't know, Maillard. I thought it was,
I don't know. I don't
Mallard is
remember.
a duck.
Yeah, I don't remember. It has to do with turning brown. Has like when you make a smash burger, when you push it into the
Is that
pan.
it's getting that reaction?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when we make, even when you make steak, that's turning brown.
Sure.
Apparently, this Maillard reaction is Maillard. Apparently, this Maillard reaction is very unhealthy for you,
Okay.
supposedly. So I guess we shouldn't eat too much steak like that. I guess with
Why is it unhealthy?
apparently it causes, there's a compound that forms whenever it's the same thing with the French fries, and the sugar. Anytime you take fat and proteins and you add heat and sugar to it, it forms these compounds that are extremely unhealthy for you. They're called advanced glycation end products, AGEs,
Okay.
which is kind of funny because one of the things that it does is it ages you,
Okay.
believe it or not. Apparently, it reacts with collagen and makes your skin wrinkle and hardens your arteries.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm suspicious about this.
Why?
Because it
It gets
tastes
rid
so
of-
good.
No. Yeah, but things that taste
The
good are
char
bad
on
for
a
you.
steak? You're telling me I can't char a steak?
Well,
That's ridiculous.
You know what? I think that if you had to have it in in a limited amount,
Yeah.
and if it wasn't too blackened, that would be okay.
Right.
We don't eat I mean, we eat a lot of burgers. We eat a lot of charred meat.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. But I don't think it's that bad. It is bad when if it's actually sugar being added to it, like they do with those fries. That would be terrible. That would be
The thing
extremely
is,
unhealthy.
with the steak and shake, I think what you're trying to get at here is that even though they're using 100% tallow in their fry oil,
right.
their ingredients still have seed oil.
Yeah, right.
But I think that's
Because
that
the fries are par cooked.
But anybody who knows anything about cooking, or especially restaurants in general, I mean, or businesses, expecting a business to somehow transition away immediately, just completely upend their own supply chain is unrealistic. I mean, it was a first good move, and I think they are being transparent with this statement. They're saying like, yeah,
Right.
there are seed oils in our ingredients,
Right.
and we're working to
Yep.
get those out. But that's going to take that. I mean, it could take it up to a year. If
guess.
they did it pretty fast, actually, in order to, because they have to find new suppliers for buns and fries and all that stuff.
Right.
So, but I'm sure they will. But so I think they're being transparent. I didn't see it as a failed publicity stunt. I think that it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they were around here, I would try them, but still,
Yeah.
I don't like to have a lot of potatoes and bread and
Did you see Bobby Kennedy there
Where?
at Steak and Shake? He went to one like a week or two ago.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't see that.
Okay, he was interviewed on Fox. They went to Steak and Shake, and they had food served. So it was obviously he was applauding their move away from seed oil. But then in the middle of the interview, some server comes over with a giant milkshake and puts it in front of Bobby Kennedy.
Right.
And he looks around a bit and he interrupts the interview because I didn't order this. He's like, this isn't mine.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, I don't want a giant milkshake. I'm the health czar.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny.
That is pretty funny.
But yeah, no, they're moving away. I think it's fine.
Yeah. That's good. I think if McDonald's, if they would blow it. They would just blow it somehow.
McDonald's would blow it. McDonald's does not care about authenticity and about doing the right thing. So McDonald's would absolutely blow it. But so far, Steak and Shake's been good.
Yeah, but their food hasn't become healthy yet.
No, not fully.
No, not
fully. Well, even now, I mean, unless they're going to grass-fed meat and grass-fed butter and organic, the thing is, it's so expensive to do all those things. It's crazy.
You got to watch out for inflammation, and that means you can't eat that stuff.
I know.
Okay. Is that it?
I think that's it for today.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.